I should have put my name tag on.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. So hey everybody, Jeff Morrell here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I got Steve Caruthers on here and wanted to just do a quick kind of interview with Steve. Steve's been part of eXp now for a while and has a long story, good story, whatever. And just wanted to just get into this a little bit. So talk a bit. How you doing, Steve? Good?
I'm doing great, Jeff. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Having a good day. So
Yeah,
winter's coming to Colorado.
winter is coming.
Geez, I'm feeling it. So
Yeah,
anyway, but yeah, Steve, real quick, can you just share with everybody, just tell your story a little bit, first of all, as far as your background, and how you got into real estate, and just share some of that. Okay.
sure. Sure. I was actually spent most of the 90s, about more than half the decade of the 90s, working with the company. We actually started out here in the Springs and moved it up to Denver. We were it was in the medical arena. We were purchasing self-pay receivables from hospitals and supplying patient financing to dental offices and stuff. Actually, what we were doing, we were operating under our name, Med Plus, and Esprit Financial Services was the parent company. But anyway, we were brokering. What we were brokering was credit from what was back then Norwest Bank, which became Wells Fargo, or so forth. But at any rate, we had a pretty good sized line of credit, and we were buying up hospital self-pay, and then we had a dunning process all set up with a company up in Denver and stuff. Anyway, I think it was in 98, late 98, I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, early 99. And I didn't own a very big part of it, but I owned a piece of it, and I sold my piece. And I had always, excuse me, I had always wanted to invest in real estate. And I thought, okay, I've got a little bit of a chunk of change here, not a lot, but enough to where I could get started. And I decided to start doing, well, first I was going to buy rentals.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought my first rental in January of 2000, 19 years ago, almost 20 years ago. And but I soon got to the point where I couldn't buy too many of them. I bought another one. This was over in Village 7. I bought another home in Village 7. And I started doing fix and flips, because some of them I didn't want to keep that I could come across, the houses I came across. So I started fixing them up and selling them. And in that process, I came across, I was connecting with fix and flip guys all over the country. The notion of doing short sales came up.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, so I went down to Florida and took a course for a better part of a week on how to do short sales. That was in, I think, 2001. But at any rate, I started doing short sales as the buyer. I would find short sales. I was doing 600-piece mailings every week, and on and on and on. And I'd get in the NED list and so forth, and doing mailings. And I did quite well with that. I bought quite a few houses that way, did a lot of short sales. I bought a number of houses subject to, and I started keeping more of them and more of them and more of them for rentals. I eventually acquired 16 of them by early 2004.
Okay.
And I just didn't like what I was doing, didn't like the way it was going, but I became very, very good at finding properties that were good prospects to do fix and flip. So I decided to become a realtor, and so I could work with other investors more easily rather than wholesaling. That just didn't appeal to me.
Right.
So I decided to become a realtor, joined Keller Williams Client's Choice up on Kelly Johnson in August of 2004, got my license.
Okay.
And hit the ground running because I was already in the business. In fact, the first full year I was there, 2005, I ended up number 11 in the office of over 200 agents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I really hit the ground running. The next year, I ended up as number 13. I actually did more volume, but I ended up at 13 in the office, mainly because I was doing short sales like crazy. There were just so many of them around, and I kept doing short
They're so
sales.
fun to do, Steve.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Oh my
Well, I
goodness.
finally burned myself
lot
out.
of it.
They were so much fun, I decided I couldn't stand any more fun.
Yeah, yeah.
So I decided to, I did them for a while after the crash because they were everywhere. That was the only thing there was out there. And I did a lot of them, and decided I just flat couldn't do anymore.
Yeah. Oh, they're
So a good friend of mine and I decided, Patrick Sheets actually, he invited me to join him on selling a franchise for a company called Next Stage.
Okay.
It was a new brokerage, and it was really catching on. And we sold, actually ended up with two of them here in Colorado Springs. One of them didn't really take a hold, but one did. And one up in Fort Collins. We actually had 3 states. And I did that, helped Patrick for a little while. I decided I wanted to get back into selling real estate rather than franchises.
Okay.
So I did. I joined the office that we had here, is up on the north end, and with Wayne Penniger and some other people, and we were really doing well with that. And all of a sudden, they just the national office just decided the guy that was funding it and owned it, his wife got sick, and he just didn't want to do it anymore. So he pulled the plug. Couldn't believe it. He just pulled the plug on it. It's lots of lessons I've learned along the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we went private, was named Top Realty Group, and ran just our own little office. And we had about 20, 25 agents in there, and decided to, the ownership of that decided to join Century 21. And Century 21, I mean, they've been around a long time, but that just was not for me. So in early 17, I went back to Keller Williams, or Keller Williams Partners at this time.
Okay.
I had never even, at this point, even yet, I had not heard of eXp.
Right.
And last summer, about a little over a year ago now, you called me one day and asked me if I'd heard of eXp, and I said no. Anyway, I just was not interested in making a change at the time for whatever reason. I just was not, so I didn't even really look at it. Right. You called me again. I guess persistence is another lesson.
Heck yeah. Come on.
Yeah, you called me again in November last fall and said you would send me a video. You did. I think you did the first time too, but I never even looked at it.
Right.
But I looked at it around coming up to Christmas in a year ago. Mm-hmm. Not quite a year ago.
Right.
And I decided, I mean, it blew me away. I didn't, part of the reason it did mention Next Stage. Next Stage had a 7-tier payout system, similar, but also came from Keller Williams, like what ours did, and it was also based on revenue like ours. Okay. But it was individual offices. It was not in the cloud. There just wasn't enough money. Part of the reason it didn't make it was because there was not enough money in it for the broker owner. It was really skimpy, and the broker owners have got to make a lot of money to own and manage these franchises and take on that risk. Right. It just wasn't there. So anyway, when I saw what eXp was, I caught on real quick because of that experience. Sure. I mean, it just blew me away. Where an agent can not only get paid on your commissions, but you can also, and everything you do, you get paid stock bonus. So you make money 2 ways on everything you do. You can actually earn money on a third way if you want. But yeah, that's why I immediately joined.
In Next Stage, it was brick and mortar, right? I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an office up on the north end. Yep.
Right. And I think that was a part of them going out, I think, wasn't it? I mean, there was so much overhead. I think too, or some of that. I mean, did that
Well,
play a
yeah,
part
and
in
there
that?
was exactly correct, and there wasn't enough money to pay for it. Where Keller Williams, each agent, the managing broker or the broker owner gets 18,000, or the office gets $18,000.
Right.
In the case of Next Stage, it was the same. It was basically the same, but most of that went to overhead and everything else.
Right.
There was just not enough money for the. Plus, when you pay out 7 levels,
Right.
etc.,
Right.
it just didn't work.
What was the biggest thing? I mean, when you actually sat down and watched the video, you took a look at it and you said you were blown away. Like what, for you, what was the biggest thing that just the big like aha moment, like, holy cow, what was it?
Right. Well, the first thing that hit me was here's an opportunity I can create a retirement income,
Right.
passive. Better yet, to say passive income.
Sure.
More people are more interested in passive income than they are perhaps retirement. Same thing, but
Mm-hmm.
passive income where I could get out of bed on Monday morning and I've already got income coming in,
Right.
and I can go out and in a more relaxed manner and doing what I want to do my business on top of that. But where you've got in real estate, I've been around a long time, as have you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times when I was in business, your income tends to go up and down, cyclical, because you get a bunch of leads and you're working them hard, and you forget to generate more leads.
Right. Right.
Then you get your closings, and you got to go back to I can get some more
Totally.
business coming, and
Yeah.
it becomes cyclical. Well, this helps even that out,
Sure.
and it can really help.
Right. It's something I remember going through that as a young agent. I remember it, and I see that a lot of times with new agents where they get it up and running. And they have that 1 month where they've got 5 or 6 closings, and it's a big, $30,000-$40,000 month. But then they
Right.
don't have one closing for the next 4 months because they weren't calling leads, they weren't generating leads. They got so busy during that 1 month,
Right.
that, whatever. So it tends to fall apart. But yeah, you're right with this here. I mean, I think between the stock and then for those that and again, it's, I want to emphasize here because it's about 5 to 10% of the agents that actually do the revenue share in terms of reaching out to agents. It's not
Right.
the reason that most people are moving over here. It's there and it's nice, and I love that piece of it. It's a very lucrative piece, but it could also just be even it could be a $500 a month or a few thousand a month. But you're right, it evens out that, like, December, January, or that 1 month where you don't have any closings at all, to know that there's still some money coming in, because it's not just about you and your business. It's, you being able to override,
Right.
what other agents are doing, whatever, the revenue share piece of
Right.
this, it's a big part of this thing. So,
And then there's some agents who want to take this to a whole nother level. They want to build a big business with a lot of agents and everything else. And for those people, there's just nothing that compares to this. That was the other thing that I saw when I first saw this. Not that I necessarily want to do that,
sure.
but there were a number of people that I know whose names popped in my mind. This is something, because you can build something they would want to see, because you can build not only a local office with 20, 30, 100 agents or more, but you can build a national, soon to be international office with thousands of agents, with very, very little overhead, with very little risk. All that goes up to eXp, and make a lot more money than you could otherwise make doing even with your own office.
Yeah.
Even with your own franchise. You can make more money.
That's huge to me. I mean, I know for me, like, because we were big, I was in the top 20 in town here, out of whatever,
Right.
4,000 realtors. We had a big business. I got asked all the time, why don't you start your own company? Why don't you start your own brokerage? Why don't you get into it? Buy your own franchise? I just never wanted the headaches of doing it, number one, but I never wanted the liability of it. And like right now, like I always had a team, 4 or 5 agents. I've got a team now of, I don't know, approaching 70 agents, and I'm not responsible for them. In that sense, whatever. And it's just, and we're having a blast. I mean, we really are. It's just been, it's got me excited about real estate again. Like for you, like, and when did you actually hang your license here? When did you actually make the move? When was it?
My effective date is the last day of January this year.
Okay, gotcha. And so far, so 9 months now, basically where we are right now, recording this here in October.
Correct.
You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put it for yourself? You know,
Well,
10 being
compared
like
to
phenomenal, 1 being like I hate this, I'm leaving tomorrow.
right.
Where would you put yourself with this? Seriously, you know?
Well, when I stop and think about it and being real honest, and I can tell you exactly why. For example, I mean, I would put this at a 10. Now, it didn't start out being a 10. There's some things you got to relearn, but that's
Sure.
anytime you move from one brokerage to another, there are things you have to relearn, a different way of doing things and so forth and so on.
Sure.
And that's all taken some time and some frustration, but boy, is it worth it. For example, we use SkySlope. Now, there are some other offices that use SkySlope, but it is, compared to what we were using at Keller Williams, it is so much easier, and it flows easier. I've been using, in fact, I'm still using a transaction coordinator, and did the whole time I was at Keller Williams. I'm not going to use a TC anymore. I don't need a TC. Not that that's $250 a transaction, but it's $250 a transaction. I don't need it anymore. Everything I need is here, and it's so easy to go into the office in the cloud, log into eXp World, that's what we call it, and get my questions answered. If it's a brokerage problem or issue, I can get in touch with our managing broker, Ray Sherman, and he's always very available. I've talked to him earlier this week, communicating at least twice this week on a closing that I had. But anyway, no, it's really on top of things. Right. This company is really on top of things. This makes things a lot easier.
Where do you see, let me ask you one more question, then we'll wrap it up here. I want to keep this kind of tight. Where do you see this, just if you had a crystal ball right now and like, 5 years from now, here's where I think we're going to be as a company, and here's where I think I'm going to be in my own real estate business. How would you answer that? What do you think we'll be as a company 5 years from now?
5 years?
Yeah.
Well, right now, to give a little context, right now we just crossed 23,000 agents, shall we say, in North America. We'll be international at that time. Another little context, Keller Williams is by far the largest. They've got just under 160,000. Right. I think we'll be maybe double the size of Keller Williams in 5 years, maybe even bigger than that. I can see us having every bit of or close to 400,000 agents in 5 years or more. As far as where I am at that point, well, I really don't know. I mean, I think one can build whatever you want. If you want to build a $100,000 a year income or $1 million a year passive income with this, I don't know if anywhere one could go to build whatever it is you want to build.
Sure.
Then you could do it easier than you could do it here.
Right.
And it's doing it with real estate. I mean, I love doing real estate. That's why I'm still doing it. I love doing deals, is what my wife says. Oh, you love doing deals, don't you? I do. I love doing deals. Yeah. But that's not all there is to life in real estate.
Sure.
I've discovered through XP there's a lot more to real estate in building a passive income and having something not only for my wife and I, we're empty nesters, but that I can leave for my kids and grandkids.
Yeah,
it's very unique. There's nothing like it out there.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it.
Period.
For sure.
Yep.
It's crazy how it's working, and it's just, we're having fun, and I'm excited about real estate. It's been amazing to watch. And I think what I love about this too, like for you, not totally sure where you're going to be 5 years from now. None of us are, whatever. But the fact that I think everybody who's part of the eXp, we're going to have lots of options.
Oh, yeah. Well, my income is going to be a strong 6-figure or more income.
Yeah.
No question about that.
For sure. And then you have the stock bonuses. If it really does what, Wall Street is predicting our stock to do, I mean, it's going to get crazy. So anyway, fun stuff. Right place, right time. I do. I can't tell you, there's not a day that goes by I'm not like thanking God for the fact that I saw this thing. Like, holy cow! Like, just
amen.
We're right at the beginning of this thing. It's just gonna be fun. So anyway.
Me too, brother. Me too.
Cool. Good deal.
Yeah,
Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate you introducing this to me.
Yeah, for sure. It took you a while, you stubborn fool. No, I'm just kidding.
No one's ever called me that before.
I hear you.
Oh boy.
Well, good deal. Well, I appreciate it, Steve. Thank you so much. And guys, thanks for taking a look. Whatever, we'll be doing more of these. So, get your questions answered. You can reach out to Steve. Steve, give your number real quick in case somebody wanted to give you a call, just to ask you some questions about this. What's your phone number?
You bet. It's area code 719-337-8262.
There you go. And mine, guys, 719-321-0335. Feel free to reach out to either one of us or anybody that you're working with, whatever that you know is in eXp. Just, give them a call. I'm telling you, this is worth digging into. Absolutely. Just to get the info and just to see it. Maybe it's a fit. Maybe it's not a fit. Maybe it'll be a fit 3 years from now. I don't know. It's worth an evaluation, though, for sure. When I saw it, I kind of just took a look to get my friend off my back a little bit, but I was blown away when I saw this thing. It's been amazing. So anyway, Steve, thank you again. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Jeff.
You too. Guys, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.